Hi, I'm Donna Kallner, and this is Lesson 2 of the Cross-Knit Looping eCourse. In this unit, I'll introduce project ideas that you could use to practice the skills learned in this lesson, shaping with increases and decreases, the round base, and the cross-knit edging. If your time is limited this week, the first project here packs a lot of skills development into a small, portable project similar to the sachet used to demonstrate the cross-knit edging technique. The Ornament Project adds color changes and a double needle chain hanger to keep things interesting. The second project builds on the round base and gives you practice with decreases as well as increases for shaping. The final sample shows a practical application for cross-knit looping in a quick garment makeover. First, the Ornament Project. Make a round base, as you learned earlier in this lesson, increasing as needed to keep the piece flat. You'll need 2 of these round elements. To add variety, try working this project in stripes of contrasting colors. When you want to add a color, bury the tail of the new thread on the back of the piece and bring it out to the edge. Pass the new thread around the old thread, taking out any slack, and begin stitching with the new thread. This is now the active thread. For now, let the old or inactive thread just hang there. If you want to change back to that color on the next row, it's right where you need it. But if you're done with it, you can just bury the tail later. To change back to the original color for the next row, when you complete a row with the contrast color, pick up the original thread, pass it around the one you've been stitching with, take out any slack, and keep stitching. To make the ornament, whip the edges of 2 round elements together, adding a filling of fleece, cotton balls, or even waste thread or yarn. Cover the seam with the cross-knit edging. To make the ornament hanger, after closing the gap between the first and last rows of the cross-knit edging, don't bury the tail of the yarn. Instead, here's a variation on the needle chain technique you learned in Lesson 1. For the double needle chain, you work 2 parallel needle chains at the same time, alternating your stitches between the 2, working with a single thread. When you begin, pay close attention to where the working thread lies. Remember, the needle always passes over the working thread. At least it does until Lesson 3. When the double needle chain is the length you want, stitch the live edge of the chain to the ornament and bury the tail. The next project idea starts with a round base, then gives you practice with decreases for shaping. I should mention that it's fine if you hold your work differently than I show here. I showed you a south to north needle orientation in this video in lesson 1. How you choose to work is entirely up to you. Just keep the hand position variables in mind. If something doesn't look or feel quite right to you, you may be unconsciously switching between what's more natural for you and what you see in the video. Okay, back to the trinket basket project. Begin with a round base, increasing as needed to keep the piece flat. For now, small projects are a good idea, so keep this base smaller than, say, the size of your palm. When the base is the size you want, stop making increases and keep stitching. After a few rows without increases, you'll see the flat base begin to cup and a vessel begin to take shape. Now it's time to start decreasing to shape this vessel into something where the rim is smaller in diameter than the base. Remember to manage the allocation of thread for the lags between stitches on your decreases. Your goal is to reduce the circumference of the opening at the rim. When it's the size you want, add a cross-knit edging to the rim. The final project shows a practical application for cross-knit looping in a quick garment makeover, adding a finished edge to sleeves I shortened on this boiled wool jacket. First, I used a contrasting thread to mark where I wanted to cut off the sleeves. Boiled wool doesn't ravel, so all I had to do was cut the fabric the length I wanted the sleeve. Then I worked the cross-knit edging. That edging covers the raw edge of the fabric without adding any bulk from a hem that's folded over and then stitched. And it definitely looks better on me than the rolled up sleeves did. Before you head out to the thrift shop to look for boiled wool jackets with too long sleeves, there's one last video in this lesson. You can watch it as your working samples or a practice project. I'll see you there.